So ayun nga po mga boss, Chief, Amo, Sir, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat diyan sa Pilipinas, mga kababayan. Ayan po, no? Meron akong tabalit sa inyo, no? Doon sa ngayon pa lang po malalaman. Umatras yung itlog po. Umatras po yung itlog o yung golteb, no? Ni dating Pangulong Duterte, mga kababayan. Kinabahan po sa Quadcom ang dating Pangulo, mga kababayan. Sabi, bias daw ho kasi doon sa Quadcom. Hindi ko maintindihan kung paano nila nasasabi na bias, no? Eh kung ako ho kasi ganito yan, mga kababayan. Naniniwala ho kasi ako, no? Naniniwala ho kasi ako na kung alam mo yung katotohanan at yung mga sasabihin mo, pawang mga katotohanan, mahirap po yang baliin. Ano po? Kahit ilang tao pa yung mga magtatanong sa iyo, mahirap pong baliin 'yan. Kahit saan po, no, paniladalin yung mga pag-uusapan, mahirap pong baliin 'yan, mga kababayan. Yun po ang paniniwala ko, no? Kaya nagtataka ho ako, mga bossing, kung bakit itong, naku, ewan ko ba, ang dating pangulo, sabi matapang. Naalala niyo po yung sabi ng dating pangulo, mga bossing? Ano daw ho? Sabi nung dating pangulo, excited pa nga, 'di ba? Excited doon sa Quadcom at sasabihin niya lahat, no, yung nalalaman niya doon sa Quadcom. Tapos eto, mga kababayan, yung araw na umpisa na ang Quadcom, wala po. Ano sabi? May LBM daw.
Joint public hearing of
Ayan.
the Quadcom.
Mga boss, mag-uumpisa na ho, mga kababayan. Naririnig niyo po ba yung mismong si Ace Barbers? Pakisabi lang po kung malinaw.
On dangerous drugs, the
Ayan.
public hearing is now called to order.
Paki-press 1 lang po kung naririnig
On
nyo.
behalf of the
Si
Committee on
Congressman
Public
Ace
Orders and
Barbers.
Duties, Quadcom hearing is now called to order.
Ayan.
For the Committee on Human Rights, this Quadcom is now called to order.
Si Paduano, si
For the part
Apop.
of Committee of Public Accounts, the meeting is now called
Monday,
to order.
Comsec, can you please lead the prayer?
Congressman
for today's
Apop,
committee hearing? And,
Denny
dedicate
Abante, Dan
everyone to
Fernandez,
Jesus Christ.
Ace Barbers.
Let us place ourselves in God's
Paano?
presence. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we come together this day to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the committees and for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity so that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and help us to make decisions that strive to be for the good of all, while guarding us from blind self-interest. Finally, dear Lord, grant us the ability to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Kinakabahan na yung mga TTS.
Magiliw, perlas ng singanganan, hanap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hilirang, buyan ka ng
Yung mga TTS, kinakabahan na dyan, mga bossing. Ayan, panigurado po, kinakabahan na po yung DDS. Hintayin lang po natin, mga bossing. Magna-national anthem lang po, mga kababayan, no? Kasi nakaka-copyright tayo kapag yung mga ganyan pumapasok po at national anthem po. Ngayon lang po natin, tapos explain na po natin. Sa mga mali, no? Ngayon lang po natin, awit natin. Eto na, i-play ko na. Ayan, ha. Tingnan ko nga sa'kin kung choppy ako. Game na! Ito na nga. Sorry.
Good morning, esteemed
Wala palang sound,
co-chairs,
sorry.
honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our senior deputy speaker, the proponent of this investigation. Welcome to our 10th Quadcom hearing. Today, we shall continue with our inquiry on the issue on illegal drugs. If you recall, we started in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs in October of last year, 2023. We investigated the illegal drugs seized in a warehouse in Mexico, Pampanga, which turned out to be owned
Okay
by
na, di ba?
Empire 999, a corporation owned by Chinese nationals who pretended to be Filipinos. When the hearing started, they all disappeared. Records show that the main players have gone back to China
Wow.
using their real passports and identities. To date, Quadcom has initiated for future proceedings of all their assets here in the country through the Office of the Solicitor General. The Quadcom now discovered that it was but the tip of the iceberg. Empire 999 is not alone in this illegal activity. Other corporations may have been formed to cover or mask this activity, as evidenced by their interlocking sets of incorporators, all the way leading to personalities who are long suspected of illegal drug activities, namely Lin Wei-shong and Mr. Michael Yang, the former economic advisor of President
Duterte.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte. This discovery led us back into the past. Witnesses now claim that powerful people associated with these two Chinese have facilitated the entry of illegal drugs into the country during the past administration. We have invited all these personalities today so we may know whether or not they have any involvement in illegal drugs. And we shall listen to their side later. We shall also resume the hearing on the extrajudicial killings that took the lives of more than 20,000 people during the past administration's war on drugs. In our past hearings, names were mentioned, admissions were made, witnesses and resource persons appeared, questioned, vetted, and tested.
Wala si
Forced
Duterte.
admissions in any way
Absent.
was never part of Quadcom. We may
Kinabahan.
not have extracted yet the information fully from them, but we never put words in their mouths. Whatever testimonies and affidavits they presented before the Quadcom were given by them freely and voluntarily. We may be accused of providing entertainment and likened to a gag show, but who is laughing? On the contrary, the one who said that the one who said that must be so full of himself that he didn't notice that the joke was on him. We are not here to pin down nor exonerate anyone. All we wanted was to know the truth. The same truth that the people have been longing for, most especially by the families of murder victims and the victims who survived.
Natakot kay Dan
We
Fernandez.
intend to use these truths in crafting legislation, some of which we have already filed, as well as make recommendations to any agency to plug loopholes in their systems, if any is discovered. If along the way, people are found to be liable, it is our duty to make sure that justice is served. There is nothing funny about it. We only mean serious business. We have reached this point because in the course of the investigation, we found very disturbing facts and questions needing answers.
Grabe ka.
We owe it to the people. As public servants, we pledge loyalty to them. They trusted us and voted us in office. We serve them. We will not use the Quadcom to exonerate ourselves and proclaim our innocence in the face of overwhelming evidence. Now, if I may, I invite all of you to look at the screen and see the inconvenient truth. These numbers are from the official PNP reports as published both then and recently, last October 21, and not just made-up stories by the Quadcom. Ikumpara po natin ang unang 2 taon ng Duterte at BBM administration. Tinan po natin ang total ng krimen o tinatawag na index crime volume. Sa unang 2 taon po ng Duterte administration ay nakapagtala ito ng 217,830 na krimen. Samantalang sa parehong panahon naman sa BBM administration, ang krimen ay bumaba ng napakalaki. 83,059 o nangangalugan na pagbawas ng 61.87%.
Sabi ng
sa
mga
index
DDS,
crimes.
tahimik nun.
Any claim to the contrary is but a figment of the imagination and if not, a propaganda. Pangalawa, tingnan po natin mula July 2016 to December 2017 ay may mga namatay o pinatay na 4,354 sa mga police anti-illegal drug operations, habang 16,000 naman at 355 naman ang pinatay ng mga riding in tandem at mga di pa nakikilalang mga salarin.
Kala ko tahimik nun.
Noong 2018, inilagay ng PNP sa kategoryang HCUI or Homicide Cases Under Investigation na umabot sa talang 23,327. Samantala, mula July 2022 hanggang katapusan ng 2023, ang bilang ng mga napatay sa mga legitimate police anti-illegal drugs operations ay 73 lamang po.
Layo
Pangatlo,
ng number ah.
may kabuuan na 115,435 na anti-drug operations na nakalikom lamang ng 3,294,44 kilos ng shabu na nagkakahalaga ng 18.43 billion pesos sa unang 2 taon ng dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, habang sa mas kakaunting anti-illegal drug operations lamang sa parehong panahon sa BBM administration ay 84,676, subalit nakalikom na mas maraming shabu na umaabot sa 6,481.16 kilos.
Sabog ang DDS.
The anti-drug campaigns under former President Rodrigo Duterte from July 2016 to July 2018 and the current President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. from July 22 to early 2024 represent contrasting approaches in tackling illegal drugs and the crime in the Philippines. While both administrations aim to reduce drug-related crimes, their methods and resulting outcomes reflect significant strategic and operational differences. Here is a detailed comparison of the first 2 years of the administration's campaign. As has been shown earlier, ang numero po ay hindi po nagsisinungaling. Ito po ay galing sa Philippine National Police. Duterte's anti-drug campaign was characterized by an aggressive, highly visible approach involving frequent operations and a high fatality count. His administration focused on eradicating drug activity at all levels, which led to widespread arrests and significant drops in crime, but also raised concerns over human rights and due process. In contrast, the Marcos administration appears to have adopted a more refined approach with an emphasis on improved crime-solving rates and efficiency in enforcement. The significantly lower number of fatalities coupled with large drug seizures and high-value arrests suggests a strategic pivot towards disrupting drug networks through focused, intelligence-driven operations. This approach may reflect a more sustainable model aiming to dismantle supply chains rather than focusing on sheer arrest numbers or area saturation tactics. In conclusion, both administrations achieved reductions in crime and drug-related offenses, but the Duterte administration's approach was more intensive and controversial, with high casualties and widespread operations. The Marcos administration has made efforts to continue the campaign with fewer fatalities, a higher concentration on strategic arrests, and increased operational efficiency, suggesting a potential shift towards a more systematic and less violent anti-illegal drugs approach. The numbers mentioned above are real numbers. Sa totoo lang po, hindi namin alam ang mga tunay na pangyayari sa likod ng mga numerong ito hanggang nag-umpisa ang ating investigasyon. Ang sinabi na ating lahat na kwento ay ang karamihan ng mga pinatay ay kagagawan ng mga vigilantes na hindi pa nakikilala, habang ang mga natitira ay biktima naman ng legitimate police operations kung saan ang mga pinatay ay sinabing ng laban. Sa mga testimonyang malayang ipinahayag sa ating mga pandinig, ay naipakita na marahil dito ay bunga ng pamamaslang ng mga operatiba o pulis na inutusang pilitin ang mga nahuhuli na manlaban upang tuluyan na silang mapatay.
Grabe.
Sa pahayag ng dating Pangulong Duterte sa Senado, sinabi niya na totoong sinabihan niya ang kapulisan na mag-encourage o himukin ang mga suspects na lumaban upang patayin na sila nang sa gayon ay matapos na ang problema.
Grabe,
Mas nakakagimbal ang mga pahayag na may pabuya o reward ang mga operatiba o operatibang makakapatay ng mga nasa listahan ng drug personalities. Hindi ito maikakaila sapagkat marami na ang nagsabi, kabilang na si dating Special Assistant to the President na ngayon ay Senador Bongo, sa kanya mga interviews noon, kasagsagan ng war on drugs. Ang pangakong pabuya ang malamang na naging dahilan ng paglobo ng dami ng pinatay.
Correct.
Without validation of the so-called narco-lists, names may be added at will, whether or not the person is a drug personality, as in the case of General Wesley Barayuga, whose name was added to the list way after he was killed. May mga nagsasabi na maganda ang mga naganap na patayan sapagkat mga drug lords naman po ang napatay o ang mga adik na kriminal. Subalit sa aming investigasyon, lumalabas na may mga ibang drug lords nga na napatay, subalit iilan lamang, samantalang madaming mga malalaking drug lords ang nagpatuloy sa kanilang gawain at naprotektahan pa ng gobyerno at nabigyan pa ng titulo imbis na maimbestigahan. Libo-libo ang mga pinatay ng mga tricycle drivers, homeless na nasa kariton, construction workers, at mga ordinaryong tao na halos wala nang ang makain at walang laban, mga taong napagtripan na lamang. Ito ba ang mga drug lords? Pangkain nga, wala sila. Pangdroga pa kaya?
Oh, correct.
Mga batang inosente, gaya ni Kian de los Santos, basta na konsunadahan ka, delikado ka na. Lahat ng patay may reward na katumbas. Sino ba ang ayaw maging ligtas ang ating mga lansangan sa mga masasamang elemento? Subalit kung ang mga pinalit sa mga masasamang elementong ito ay mga otoridad na naghahanap buhay, mas nakakatakot maglakad sa lansangan at baka masama ka sa missing persons or unsolved homicide cases.
Galit na galit.
Ipagpalagay na
si
natin
Digong ngayon.
na mga adik ang ibang pinatay. Bakit pa tayo naglaan ng daang-daang milyon sa pagtatayo ng mga drug rehab centers kung papatayin din lamang natin sila?
Ah,
Ito ba ang dahilan kung bakit hindi nagamit ng full capacity or in full capacity yung ating mega rehabilitation center na nandoon sa Nueva Ecija? Pag drug addict ka ba, wala ka ng karapatang mabuhay dahil wala ka ng silbi sa buhay? Ang
aroy.
mga pinatay ay mga tatay, nanay, anak, kapatid, apo, mga miyembro ng pamilya na may mga nagmamahal. Napakinggan natin dito ang kanilang mga naulila. Sila'y kaawa-awa at kalunos-lunos. It is really sad that human lives were lost and wasted just to prove a point that we are against illegal drugs. The right to life is paramount as it is God-given and precedes all other human rights. Without life, there can be no rights. Quadcom will not sit idly by in the face of all these discoveries. We intend to get to the bottom of all these issues fairly, honestly, and truthfully. Hiningi po namin ang inyong buong pagtitiwala. Hindi po kami nag-aakusa lamang dahil sa politika o ano paman. Kayo po ang humusga. Inilalatag lamang namin ang aming mga impormasyon at katotohanan base sa mga salaysay, tunay na pangyayari at mga dokumentong nakalap sa aming mga pag-iimbestiga. Patuloy po naming babantayan at sisiya sa atin ang mga aligasyon, akusasyon at impormasyon para mapangalagaan ang ating bayan. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Human Rights, Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa atin pong Senior Deputy Speaker, sa ating Deputy Speaker, sa aking mga co-chairs, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues at mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. We gather here once more for the 10th time, not merely to sit in one of our typical hearings, in order to file one of our usual committee reports, but for something far greater. We have convened again because we cannot and we must not lose sight of the purpose that drives us, the pursuit of justice for the victims of illegal drugs, for the victims of pogos, and for the victims of extrajudicial killings. To help remind us of why we dedicate so much of our time to this task, I ask you to remember the name of Kian de los Santos, that young man, that minor, whose life was tragically cut short by a bullet fired in the dark. We are here today for Kian and for the countless innocents like him who died in the name of a misguided, bloody war on drugs. To our people and to everyone here, I say, enough. Enough with the gaslighting. Enough with the distractions. Enough with the squid tactics. We cannot be knocked off course by words meant to confuse or mislead. At this point, there is one voice we must focus on. One that was used under oath in the halls of the Senate. Last week, former President Duterte himself spoke before the Senate and the nation, and in his own words, took responsibility for the blood spilled in his war on drugs. He did not deny. He did not deflect. He admitted that he gave orders. Orders that directed our own police forces to encourage suspected criminals to fight back so they could be killed. Under oath, he told us this without shame and without remorse. This was not hearsay. This was not a speculation. This was a declaration from the man himself. He went further. Under oath, he admitted to the existence of the Davao Death Squad, an entity with a lethal mandate that was replicated around the whole country when PRRD was elected president in 2016. But the former president did not stop there. He pointed his finger at a sitting senator, a member of our very government, and named him a part of the DDS.
Si Bato.
Not a Duterte defending senator, no, but a member of the notorious Davao Death Squad. Ano ang sinabi ni PRRD? And I quote, yung isang senador, yang nakaupo dyan,
Si Bato.
si Senator De La Rosa,
Mhm.
Death Squad rin yan. End of quote. And now comes this familiar refrain. It was all a joke. Biro lamang daw. But I ask you, my friends and my colleagues, I ask you, who makes jokes under oath? Who laughs while mothers bury their sons?
Correct.
Who finds humor in this horror?
Yari kayo,
This
Bato.
is no laughing matter. The lives lost, the grief that lingers, the blood spilled in our streets, these are not punchlines in a cruel joke. These are lives, young innocent lives taken from us. But perhaps we should not be surprised. Perhaps we should not be shocked that this sacred issue, the sanctity of life, is treated so trivially. For we have seen time and time again how human life has been cheapened, how easily these men speak of death, how casually they wash their hands off the blood of the innocent. As Proverbs 31 verse 8 and 9 reminds us, and I quote, "Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." End of quote. We are commanded to raise our voices for those who cannot speak, to seek righteousness for those who have been silenced, and to demand justice for those who have suffered unjustly. This, my friends, this is why we must not falter. This is why we must not rest, why we must not turn away. We have a responsibility, not only to the victims, but to our nation. We must continue this work, unyielding, unrelenting, uncompromising. Mga kasama, we have the statement of the former president. We also have testimony and evidence that corroborates what he said under oath. Now, we must hold to account those who have perpetrated these heinous crimes. Now we must ensure that the cries of the oppressed are not drowned out by laughter, that the dignity of human life is restored, and that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. And as we press forward, let us remember this. We do not stand here alone. We stand with Kian. We stand with his family. We stand with a 3-year-old killed by a stray bullet in Cebu. We stand with a 9-year-old killed in Caloocan, and the death certificate showed that he died of pneumonia. We stand with a tricycle driver gunned down just because a drug lord rode in his tricycle. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand with every victim of this dark and bloody campaign. The banality of evil must come to an end. We stand for those who cannot speak, for the voices that were silenced too soon, and we stand with the promise, the solemn vow, that we will do everything in our power to ensure this never happens in our country again. So with hearts full of resolve and eyes fixated on justice, let us continue this work. For if we are to be remembered, if the 19th Congress is to be remembered, let it be not for the jokes or the gaslighting, but for our dedication to the truth, our commitment to justice, and our compassion for those who suffered. Mga kaibigan, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Congressman Abante. The next to deliver his opening remarks is Congressman, the Chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Ayan
Mr.
na.
Chairman, I have no
Umuwi.
remarks for today's hearing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Nasabi na eh. Pauuwiin
The
si
next to
Duterte.
deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Accounts, Congressman Caraps Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. The Joint Committee has conducted 10 public hearings, and over the course of these proceedings, numerous witnesses have come forward, reinforcing suspicions of widespread abuses during the Duterte administration's war on drugs. Thus, a significant question has arisen regarding the safety of these witnesses and what they stand to gain from their cooperation. First and foremost, I want to put on record that telling the truth is its own reward. There is inherent value in honesty because it upholds personal integrity, contributes to justice, and fosters trust. By coming forward, these witnesses contribute to uncovering the realities of past actions and ensuring accountability. Their testimonies play a crucial role in strengthening the integrity of our institutions and promoting justice and transparency. Having said that, it is the obligation of the House of Representatives to ensure the protection and security of these witnesses. As a legislative body dedicated to uncovering the truth, the safeguarding justice, the House has a duty to support and protect those who come forward in good faith to share their testimony. The House recognizes the witnesses in sensitive inquiries may face threats, intimidation, or retaliation. As such, it is incumbent upon us to take all necessary measures to shield them from harm. Current laws does not grant the House of Representatives the authority to directly confer immunity from suit. However, we can recommend our witnesses for the Department of Justice Witness Protection Program, which offers both legal protection and additional support. By making this recommendation, we can ensure that witnesses who provide vital information are shielded from prosecution related to their testimonies, in line with the provisions of Republic Act number 6981. This action requires the consent of the witnesses and approval of our speaker. In addition, we may consider the option of granting protective custody to ensure the physical safety of resource persons who may be at risk due to their involvement in this investigation. While protective custody does not provide immunity from legal actions, it is an established measure that can provide immediate security during the course of our proceedings. Both actions will require a collective decision from the members of the Joint Committee. This ensures that we act transparently and uphold the principles of democracy. Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the continuation of our inquiry, this representation would like to put on record and address certain critical concerns relative to the conduct of the parallel inquiry of the Senate Blue Ribbon Subcommittee on the drug war implemented during the previous administration on October 28, 2024. To set things into clear perspective, this representation fully recognizes the authority of the Senate to investigate the details of the implementation of the drug war, as both chambers of Congress are constitutionally permitted to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with our duly published rules. However, while the authority of the Senate will never be put into question, what is particularly concerning is the seeming disregard for proper courtesy and lack of impartiality by a member of the subcommittee. In particular, I am referring to the actions of Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. Allow me to discuss this detail, Mr. Chairman. Senator Bato
Ayan.
de la Rosa action of participating as a member in a proceeding where he is named as one of the individuals involved in the implementation of drug war did not produce meaningful results, but rather cast doubts on the integrity of the whole process. In fact, prior to the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator De La Rosa even insisted that the investigation should be heard by his own committee. This action of a sitting member of Congress not only demonstrates disregard to existing rules and processes, but also undermines the integrity of the institution that he is bound to respect. Kung sa simula pa lamang ay gumamit na siya ng impluensya, ano pa ang aasahan natin sa kanya sa mga gaganapin nilang pagdinig? He was the PNP chief when the previous implementation introduced the war on drugs. He also admitted that there were killings attributed to the war because of alleged cases of nanlaban. In short, he was not only involved, but was in fact one of the figureheads of the campaign during its inception. Hence, he should have been mindful that his presence in the hearing as a member of the panel would compromise, if not invalidate, the whole proceeding. Hindi naman pwedeng ikaw ang mag-imbestiga sa iyong sarili. Clearly, this is conflict of interest on his part.
Tama.
At the very least, he should have inhibited from the proceedings and instead offered himself as a resource person so as not to influence and intimidate the other guests.
Mahina si Coco eh.
Unfortunately, the Honorable Senator failed to observe this. Even after the hearing, Senator Bato continued to conduct himself in a manner contrary to what is expected from a member of Congress. Asked about his comment on whether he was part of the Davao hit squad, whose existence was confirmed under oath by former President Duterte during the subcommittee hearing. Senator De La Rosa downplayed the same, claiming that the former president was just joking and there was no death squad to speak of. Now begs the question, why would a committee member defend and even interpret a clear statement made by a resource person in a congressional hearing? The confirmation by the former president needed no interpretation, much less from a member of the panel who investigated the same. If you would ask me, it is as if the Honorable Senator came to the defense of the former president while seeking to exonerate himself from any liability. This is further highlighted by his recent statement that he will be objecting any action of the Senate regarding the submission of records to the ICC. The Honorable Senator's recent actions are truly disappointing, Mr. Chairman. We are conducting these inquiries in order to fill the legislative gaps and address problems that necessitate immediate solution. In doing so, we also want to ascertain the truth about the abuses and other acts related to illegal drugs, POGOs, and EJKs. Mahirap man ang hamon sa atin na palabasin ang katotohanan. Sa palagay ko ay napagtatagumpayan natin ito. In closing, this representation wishes to remind our honorable senator to observe courtesy and fairness in conducting his official responsibility as a member of the Senate instead of resorting to other means so as to discredit the efforts of this body. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madamong masalamat.
Thank you.
Umpisa pa lang, mainit
Romano.
na.
Before we proceed with the admin matters, may we request that the guests,
Wala o,
the
absent.
honorable members who are present, as well as
Naihi.
our persons, be acknowledged. And the COMSEC is directed to acknowledge the presence of the members as well as our resource persons for
Wala
today.
ko matapang
But before
yun.
that, let me inform everybody that for today's committee hearing, dalawa po yung ating topic, no? Ang ating topic sa umaga ay yung usapin tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And then later in the afternoon, we will shift to the issue of the extrajudicial killings as a result of the implementation of the war on drugs. So, COMSEC, please acknowledge our guests and our members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honorable members, honorable chairs. For today's hearing, we have with us Honorable Robert Ace Barbers, Honorable Dan S. Fernandez, Honorable Joseph Stephen Caraps Paduano, Honorable Bienvenido Abante Jr., Honorable Romeo Acop, Honorable Raul Daniel Manuel, Honorable Jonathan Keith Flores, Honorable Gabriel Bordado, Honorable Johnny Pimentel, Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzalez, Honorable Arlene Brosas, Honorable Francisco Paulo Ortega V, Honorable Edward Vera Perez Maceda, Honorable Zia Alonto Adjong, Honorable Jervil Jinky Beatrix Luistro, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, and Honorable Seriaco Gato Jr.
Takot si Duterte, ano?
For our resource persons, we have with us from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, Attorney Iranio A. Dumale, the Deputy Director, Attorney Luis Anthony K. Warren, Attorney Darius M. Canulas. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Attorney Scranton Orculio. From the Commission on Human Rights, we have its Executive Director, Attorney Jacqueline De Guia, Ms. Eileen Paradero, and Ms. Rachel Pelayo. From the Department of Justice, we have Attorney Wesley Young. From the Land Registration Authority, we have Attorney Paulo Tamayo and Attorney John Paul Hidalgo. From the National Police Commission, we have Commissioner Alberto A. Bernardo, the Vice Chairperson and the Chief Executive Officer of NAPOLCOM. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Assistant Director Glenn Ricarte, Assistant Regional Director Ferdinand Lavin, Attorney Ross Jonathan Galicia, Attorney John Mark Santiago, Special Agent Florendo Gamunac, Attorney Florendo Gamunac, Ms. Agrafina de la Cruz, Attorney Chris Godinez, and Attorney Yentel Malikad. From the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, we have Director Ferlo J. Silvo and Director Alden Juan Masagka and Mr. Nick Faildon.
Oh, ikaw na pa Eldon, nandiyan pala.
From the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, we have its Director General Lazo, ASEC Renato Gumban, Director Emeterio M. Bitong, Director Emerson Margate, and Director Emerson Margate. From the
General
Philippine
Torreo.
National Police, we have Attorney Brigado de Jesus Dulay, Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III, the Director of the CIDG, Police Brigadier General Elias Mata, the Director of the PIDEG, and from the non-government agencies, the Center for International Law sent their excuse letter. And we have with us from the National Union of People's Lawyers, we have the former Bayan Muna Congressman Attorney Nery Colmenares, Attorney Cristina Conti. We have also representatives of Rise Up for Life and for Rights and victims of families of victims, Miss Dalia Cuartero, Liore Pasco, Cristina Pascual, Marian Erorita, Salvacion Ramos, Shira Escudero, Rowena Morales, Norma Lopez, Marilu Modesto, and Teresita Adrias. And of course, we have with us the Advocates for Human Rights, led by the missionary Rebecca Lawson and Deaconess Robilin Litao. Also from Program Paghilom, we have its Executive Director, Father Flavi L. Villanueva, SVD, Mr. Randy De Los Santos, a witness, Miss Arsenia Chico, also a witness, Tesam Castillo, and Elizabeth Campo. From the Bureau of Corrections, we have with us Mr. Ian Jake S. Harabe and Senior Superintendent Gerardo F. Padilla. Again, from the Philippine National Police, we have with us Police Colonel Rolando Villela, Police Colonel Serafin Petalio, Police Colonel Marvin Marcos, Police Colonel Redentor Olsano, Police Captain Delfinito Anuba, Police Lieutenant Colonel Santi F. Mendoza, Police Lieutenant Colonel Jason Bombasi, Senior Inspector Emil Garcia, Police Major General Felipe Natividad, Police Colonel Loie D. Jonglay, and those from the CITG, Police Colonel Serafin Petalio, Police Lieutenant Colonel Chetadel Carandong Gayran, Police Lieutenant Colonel Marcelino Basconilio Pipo Jr., Police Lieutenant Colonel Raycon Lalaan Garduque, PSMS Deborah Cruz Cordova. Another set of PNP officials, now the Cavite Acting Mayor and former Police Brigadier General Edwin Carranza, Police Colonel Edwin Quilates, the former Batangas Provincial Director. Also from the CITG Halili, Police Senior Superintendent Edward Carranza, Senior Superintendent Edwin Quelantes, Senior Superintendent Gayran, and Senior Superintendent, Police Superintendent Joseph Reyes Arguelles, and Police Superintendent Judy Lopez. And from former government officials, we have Mr. Wilkins M. Villanueva, the former Police PDEA Director. He is here. And former Senator Laila S. De Lima, and Police Colonel Edelberto Leonardo, and Police Colonel Jovi Espinido. We also have with us Mr. Carlos Conde, the Philippine researcher of the International Human Rights Watch. We also have with us Miss Rose Nonolin. Andito na, Rose Nonolin.
Mr. Chair,
Miss Rose
Mr. Chair.
Nonolin.
Can those,
May I ask first, Congressman Abante, to let us allow the, do you still have a lot of names to acknowledge, Comsec?
No more, Mr.
No more?
Chair.
Okay, sige.
Ang dami
Thank
kasi.
you. Congressman
can they
Abante.
just sit right there in the witness chair, those that have been called?
Do you have a person in particular who you would like to sit in front, because of the number of resource persons we invited today, it seems that the whole room is too small for our guests. So do you have anyone in particular, Congressman Abante, that you would like to see face to face?
For example, Miss Roslyn is here and I don't see her.
Miss
Roslyn.
Roslyn, are you here? Are you present?
Nonolin. Yeah.
Can you take the seat in front of Congressman Abante?
Yan,
Yes,
at least
Comsec.
nakita,
Sir,
ano?
we also have with us Attorney Dexter Lopez from Tagum, also a human rights advocate, and Mr. Sunny Buenaventura.
Okay. So thank you, Comsec. So we will now proceed to all our guests. Good morning at welcome po dito sa ating 10th Joint Public Hearing ng Quadcom. Medyo pagpasensyahan niyo na po na medyo baka matagal-tagalan po tayo ngayon sa dami po ng ating naimbitahan. And we will try our best, no, to really be able to ask you questions in the hearing for today. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
okay, Congressman Fernandez and then Congressman Abante.
I was trying to look at the names that are being mentioned by the COMSEC. And I think he is in the last 2 pages. Actually, monitor ko po yung mga binabanggit niya. And tong sila other key personalities and yung mga minention din ni Colonel Garma are not yet mentioned yet. So, would you kindly finish your mentioning of all those resource persons who are present today?
Yes, sir. Those I read are the ones present, but we invited a lot of personalities. I guess it's in the
So, in other words,
admin
you are
matters.
done with the those who have
Yes, those who are present.
present today.
Those who
Yeah.
did not appear today, I think will be tackled by
Yeah,
during the admin matters.
Thank you. All right.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Chair.
Yes, Congressman Abante.
Kaya ko po binanggit si Miss Roslyn, tinatanong po sa akin ni Congressman Fernandez kung nasan siya.
Okay.
Andun, nasa harapan na po siya, makikita mo.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Abante. Now, we will proceed with the admin matters, and with that, may we call on Congressman Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we proceed with the admin matters on all invitees, Mr. Chairman, with regards to documents being requested and ordered by this honorable committee, particularly number 1, the DOJ, for the DOJ, conduct and submit to the Joint Committee on Investigation against PNP personnel who were involved in the killing of the late Mayor Rolando Espinosa. And the remarks as of now is ongoing. Can we get some updates on this from the NBI and DOJ, Mr. Chairman, with regards to Mayor Rolando Espinosa killing, the investigation that was directed to you by this committee, reopening of the investigation? Just a brief lang po.
Your Honor, yesterday I met with the representatives of the DOJ, and I was informed that the Secretary of Justice, Attorney Boying Rimulya, has just created a special task force that would assist the Quadcom in the investigation and the filing of the necessary cases against anyone that would be found liable in the course of our investigation.
Yari.
For all extrajudicial killings that happened. And they will submit to us an update, a progress report as to how far the Department of Justice has gone in the investigation.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman, for the clarification. Now let's go to PIDEA. Provide names of provinces and or areas with AGK-related drugs. Anyway, I've talked with DG Lasso. Ang problema po, nahirapan silang kumuha ng record. So ongoing to, but I instructed the Lola that the DIDM should provide us all the documents available with regards to all the drug-related killings from 2016 to 2022 and directed them to submit the documents within the day. Within the day po. So let us see if that documents will suffice with regards to the investigation of all EJK cases from 2016 to 2022. Now, to the DFA, they have already submitted the records of Edita Yang and to the AMLAC with regards to asset preservation order to the properties of Edita Yang and the spouses Pangilinan. Still ongoing, no? Still ongoing. Now, and all other documents that was requested last hearing, that was October 22, was already submitted to the COMSEC, Mr. Chairman. As of, I have just received a document coming from the Legal Affairs Department of the House of Representatives with regards to possible application of granting of legislative immunity to the members, to the witnesses of this investigation, Mr. Chairman. And I move, Mr. Chairman, that discussion on this letter coming from the Legal Affairs will be deferred on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
That's
So move,
noted.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, let's go with the invitations now. Now, I have with the committee has received a copy of letter coming from the Law Office of Castaños and Teves representing Ms. Muking Espino, and attached herewith our medical records, no? With regards to the medical status of Ms. Muking Espino.
May sakit din?
And this is an answer to the show cause order that was issued last October 22, 2024, Mr. Chairman. And with this, Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion to issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino.
Yeah, Muking
Ayaw
Muking
niya.
Espino.
Muking Espino and Julie seconded. Are there
Seconded,
any
yeah.
objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And I would like to inform the COMSEC, Mr. Chairman, to the chairman, that the address supposedly to send invitation for Ms. Muking Espino should be in the city government of Davao because Muking Espino is employed in the said local government unit, Mr. Chairman.
COMSEC, please take note of the
Ginagawa
address
ko
of
din
Ms.
mga yan.
Hermina Espino.
We have also received a copy of a letter coming from the lawyer of Senator Bongo. His explanation why I cannot attend today's hearing, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy from the Chief of Staff of Senator Bongo in the person of Gregorio Angelo Villar, Mr. Chairman.
That's noted.
Mr. Chairman, we have also received a letter
Iba to.
that was signed by Cesar P. Manalaysay, managing partner of Mr. Len Wixiong, and informing this committee that Mr. Len Wixiong is currently out of the country and will not be able to attend the hearing today. While Ms. Rose Nonolin, the spouse of Mr. Len Wixiong, is also present today. Thank you for coming, ma'am. Next is the letter coming from Ms. Attorney Carpio. Attorney Mans Carpio. And in this letter, Mr. Chairman, he is requesting, requesting to be excused in today's hearing because of no ample time to prepare and study the nature, purpose, and scope, and is requesting 4 copies of the following documents at least 3 days before the next schedule. affidavits of witnesses, minutes of the previous meetings, inquiries, other similar unrelated documents or statements. Mr. Chairman, with this, Mr. Chairman, I move that we defer discussion on this letter sent to us by Mr. Mans Castro to be discussed, Carpio, to be discussed on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman. With regards to the documents being requested by Mr. Carpio, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion as stated. Any second? Duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And we have received a copy of a letter coming from the former Commissioner Faldon. And since he's present, I think I've seen
Yes,
Faldon.
former Commissioner Faldon is present.
Mr. Chairman, since he's present in today's hearing, we'll just ask him about the content of his letter and the later part when the time of former Commissioner Faldon will be up to. Again, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy of a statement from the Science High Batch 80 with regards to the Barrioga case, no, and calling for justice. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received the copy of that, of this letter coming from Science High School Batch 80.
Dami.
And we have also a copy of a letter coming from the Department of Foreign Affairs with regards to the whereabouts of Bismaila Roque, whereabouts of Eddie Yang, Aka Yang Jing, and the basis for cancellation of US visa of Ms. Ruina Garma, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman. And if the committee would want to discuss about it, we will discuss this in the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman. And lastly, third to the last na po, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy, a letter coming from the former retired Police Senior Superintendent Eduardo Arceto. As for my knowledge, he's with our meeting today's hearing through Zoom, Mr. Chairman.
We have extended an invitation to the former Colonel Acerto, who is now in Zoom, and will be called later later in the day when we resume our discussions after the admin matters, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, second to the last na lang po to. We have also received a letter coming from Mercado and Associates Law Office representing Police Colonel Hector Gijaldo, and attached with is a contract between Police Colonel Gijaldo and the services of Mercado and Associates Law Office. And the letter was signed by Attorney J.P. Mercado. Is Attorney Mercado present? Comsec? Attorney Mercado? Okay. Mr. Chairman, we defer discussion on the letter of Hector Police Colonel Gijaldo since the lawyer of the good Colonel Gijaldo is present. We will just ask the lawyer later, Mr. Chairman. And his official entry of appearance in today's hearing. Now, lastly, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, we have received now.
Mr. Chair,
No?
with the indulgence of the Honorable Paduano,
With the indulgence of Congressman Paduano, Congressman Acop, you're recognized.
may I know if Colonel Grijaldo has an excuse letter insofar as his absence in today's hearing is concerned?
None. Attached here with is the letter, no cover letter of coming from the lawyer himself, and at the same time only attached medical certificates without a letter excuse coming from Colonel Grijaldo, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, may I move that we issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo to explain his absence in today's hearing in spite of the invitation made. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo for being absent today. Any second?
Second.
Duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
just on the topic of Colonel Hector Grijaldo.
Ayan.
I was going through the pages that were sent regarding
Service engagement.
his absence. Nakikita ko po dito sa kanyang patients first. Apparently, this is a medical explanation kung why he is not here because he's suffering from shoulder pain. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, there is no date indicated in the prescription letter.
Aha.
Other than that, on another page of his medical certificate, again, there is no date mentioned in his letter that he has forwarded to the committee. So I would just like to find out, Mr. Chair, is this verified and true?
Gawa-gawa lang.
Maybe we can ask his lawyer, Your Honor. We will defer the discussion on the matter of Colonel Grijaldo.
Okay,
When
I will
we-
defer to the better judgment of the chair. It's just something that I noticed when I was going through the documents. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
DSJJ.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Fernandez.
Well, dapat hindi na po ako magsasalita about this because he mentioned our name in the affidavit that he testified in the Senate. And accordingly, when I saw the yung motion po ni Chairman Ako, ngayon ko lang po nga nakita na wala siyang excuse letter and justified po yung pag-move for the show cause order. And at the same time, nung binanggit naman ni DS also yung pong medical certificate, I think this is a prescription. And accordingly, nakalagay po dito yung kanyang problema, yung chronic left shoulder dislocation, and there are like procedure for MRI.
Wow.
Maybe we can ask the PIHAW, no? Kasi I believe that andito ba yung PIHAW natin sa PNP? Because
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, with the indulgence of Congressman Co-Chair Dan
okay.
Fernandez, we'll just discuss it later, no? And well, in fact, if you want to speak something about what really transpired during your conversation with Grijaldo, may we ask you to vacate your position as co-chair and be one of the spokesperson
As a
or
matter
the
of-
resource person.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As a matter of fact, that's what I intend to do, to inhibit myself in the discussion about this issue. And together, maybe with Chairman Abante, we will be trying to relieve temporarily our chairmanship in
Eh,
order
bakit
to
hindi kaya
discuss
yun?
this in transparent and impartial and honest investigation on this matter, because this pertains to the integrity of this Quadcom, and we don't want that this Quadcom be deluged with so many bad comments about what Chairman Abante and this representation have done in order to bear out the truth about
Congressman-
the conformity of Colonel Grijaldo. Unfortunately, he's not here right now, and he is sick, and that saddened us as well, because we wanted really to the members to ask him about what really happened, if there was really indeed a coercion and harassment that was done by Chairman Abante and myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with that, if we will be discussing our issue with Colonel Grijaldo already, this representation on I will be yielding my position as a chairman of this committee.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Congressman
And
Fernandez.
also be subjected to the procedure of a resource person. If indeed we need to be subjected to the procedure being undertaken by this committee.
Okay, that's noted, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Fernandez. Before that, Congressman Adjong, let me ask if Congressman Paduano is already done with your
Not yet, Mr.
admin
Chairman. This will be
matters.
the
So,
last invitees.
Just a matter of
with the
with the
indulgence
indulgence
of
of the-
Congressman Paduano.
Sulat ni Duterte yung huli eh. No? palusot ni Duterte yung
Okay,
huli,
so,
mga kababayan.
can I proceed, Mr.
Please
Chairman?
proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And last, but not the least, at last, we received a letter coming from the former president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte,
Umurong
the
itlog.
authority given to Attorney
Umurong
Delgado, no,
itlog.
as his counsel in this investigation, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, no? And I think all the members has a copy of the letter coming from Attorney Delga, no? With regards to the reply of the former president on the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chairman. So I give the floor to
Mr. Chair.
the chairman and to the wisdom of the members of this committee how we will go about with regards to the letter of Attorney Delga representing the former president.
Wala,
And Comsec, may I ask, is Attorney Delga present?
Not today, sir.
Before we discuss with that, Mr. Chairman, I move, since, of course, he has a letter sent to us, no, the former president, giving authority to Attorney Delga. I move, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a show cause order for Attorney Delga to be present on the next hearing on the basis of his letter, no, and the authenticity of such authority given to him by the former president. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Again,
There is
Mr. Chair.
Nangyari.
uh,
Ako,
before
atapang.
we rule on the motion,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just like to
let
be
me allow
recognized.
the members who wish to manifest, no? While we are at this subject matter on the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra as the counsel to the former president, may we ask what is the pleasure of
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Adyong?
Mr. Chair, before I touch on the issue raised just now by Chairman Carabs Paduano, Mr. Chair, while our invitees' names were mentioning by our ComSec, I noticed, Mr. Chair, that one of our invited guests is present in today's hall. I noticed that former Commissioner Nicanor Faildon stood up when his name was mentioned. And just to be fair to our guests who are present today, may I humbly request, Mr. Chair, that our ComSec assist our guest to his seat, because I believe I saw his name tag, nameplate on the table, so he will be seated properly at the table, Mr. Chair. So may I request former Commissioner Nicanor Faildon to proceed to the table to his assigned seat and direct our secretary to please assist him.
Okay, thank you. Paige,
Chair.
can you please assist former Commissioner Faildon to his seat?
Ba't nandun
Mr.
yan?
Chair,
Likod, ano?
may I proceed, Mr. Chair? On the matters of the letter of Delga, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Please
Um,
proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I believe, Mr. Chair, that the letter that was sent to this committee is about the reasons why the former president opted not to attend this committee hearing. As we all know, Mr. Chair, previous days ago, he attended the Senate inquiry on the same subject matter, Mr. Chair. I would just like to be enlightened as to how do we go about with the standing invitation to our resource persons. I understand, Mr. Chair, that the committee, this Quad committee, has been so lenient to the former president and to some individuals. And I agree with the leniency we have extended to the former president, according to him, being a former president and being a former head of state, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, some of the guests here who were not present, sent us a letter, an excuse letter, specifying medical reasons. And for some, they have also sent their lawyers to represent them. I believe the lawyer of the former president, Attorney Delga, is being given authority by his client, this being the former president, to appear on his behalf. Because as I was glancing over the letter of Attorney Delga, specifying the reasons why the former president decided not to attend this committee hearing. And some of them are, to me, is some of the reasons, at least on my part, the way I understood it, is not only on the basis of him avoiding or refusing to attend the Quadcom, but he even went to assail the integrity of the Quad Committee, and even questioning the impartiality of some of the members of the Quad Committee. Now, I believe some of the members in the Senate, our counterpart, have also been extended the same invitation. But due to interparliamentary courtesy, we understand we never forced for these individuals to appear before this committee. I just want to be clarified as to the questions of attacking the credibility of the Quad Committee, and to some extent even questioning the impartiality of some of the members here, and in totality questioning the integrity of this Quad Committee. I really would want to ask Attorney Delgra to expound on this letter, because the former president attended the Senate committee investigation and so generously shared his thoughts on his policy on the war against illegal drugs.
Correct. Oo.
And as I was glancing over the letter, I also noticed that there are even some allegations of subordination. That some of the members here coerced a certain individual to say something, which basically inducing perjury. So that is something to me that cannot be just simply ignored, because it borders criminal acts, Mr. Chair. And the third one, Mr. Chair, is that the reason why the former president is not present today, it's because, according to his lawyer, he has sufficiently and generously shared his inputs and insights and comments to the Senate subcommittee chaired by Senator Coco Pimentel. But unfortunately, my confusion, Mr. Chair, is that when his allies, his spokesperson, was asked about the truthfulness of his responses to the interpellation of one of the members of the Senate,
Joke lang.
he told the public that it was merely a joke. That the truthfulness of the statements of the former president seems to be in question. Because how can we take something which is a joke? So it makes me, it's difficult for me, Mr. Chair, to just simply take as it is at face value the transcript from the Senate, when we do not even know which part of his statements is a joke and which part of his statement is real and true. These questions I would really want to ask to his lawyer. Now again, we don't require the former president to be present because we accorded to him the leniency and the respect that he deserves as a former head of state, as a former president. But then again, these allegations of impartiality, questioning the impartiality of the Quad Committee, assailing the integrity of the Quad Committee, at the very least, Mr. Chair, I was really expecting that Attorney Delgra would be present, and rather than just send to us a simple 3 pages letter. At the very least, he could at least enter his presence here, his attendance, Mr. Chair. So I just want to be clarified on how do we go about with this. Kasi unang-una, Mr. Chair, parang look at all our invitees here, Mr. Chair. Some of the most important personalities that would give us insights and inputs for this committee to be guided properly and correctly in arriving to a sound judgment once we file before the plenary and report before the plenary, the committee hearing, are not here, are not present. Some of them, bigla na lang sumasakit ang mga bigla na lang may sumasakit sa mga katawan nila. some of them are still meron mga search warrant yung iba. So I just do not want to impress upon the public that these individuals who have served the government, who at some point in time took the oath of allegiance to the Constitution. At alam po natin ito lahat, upholding the Constitution without mental reservation or acts of evasion. The very Constitution that is sworn to uphold and pledge the allegiance to gives us the mandate to constitutionally exercise our oversight function. What they're doing right now, Mr. Chair, is a clear act of evasion. Mr. Chair, I just want to be clarified. How do we go about with this kind of situation?
Mr. Chair, thank you for that manifestation, Congressman Adyong. We will address that concern later when the committee deliberates on the contents of the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra. Yes, Congressman Flores, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, Attorney Delgra is just being the lawyer, Mr. Chair. He's just, I think, stating the reasons given to him by his client, the former president. So if we insist that he be present, Mr. Chair, I don't think he will be the best person to answer the questions that we may have. It should be the former president himself. But I do not agree with the reasons he stated in his letter, Mr. Chair, but I don't think he's the proper person to ask, Mr. Chair. He's just the representative of the former president. And he,
Mr. Chair,
We have a situation here now. Congressman Adyong asking for clarifications as to how can he address the former president intelligent questions that needs answers directly from the former president, while Congressman Keith Flores is just stating that Attorney Delgra cannot answer these queries that will be propounded by the members. So,
Mr. Chair, may I respond to that? Just
Mr. Chair,
very short,
Mr. Chair.
short, very
Okay.
brief, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Adyong first, and then Congressman Ali Fernandez.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Just make it short.
Yeah,
Congressman
very
Adyong.
brief, Mr. Chair. I understand, Mr. Chair, my good friend here, Congressman Keith Flores. But at number one, Attorney Delgar was chosen by President, so he confidently have trust on Attorney Delgra to at least respond on his behalf questions. Number two, the position of this representation simply is on the matters of the content of the letter. I will not be asking Attorney Delgra on how the previous administration implemented the war on drugs. I understand that he is not capable and he is not competent to answer these questions. I would simply wanted to ask, since his signature is affixed in his letter, I would simply want to ask how, I'm pretty sure they have discussed this over with his client. So I just want to elucidate to us, how did his client, the former president, arrive into this kind of conclusion? Because what appears to me, Mr. Chair, and what I do not simply cannot afford to understand is that the House of Representatives, being part of a two bicameral chamber of House of the Congress, the Senate on one hand and then the House on the other hand, that a certain individual can simply select which institution office he would like to go to. Now, to me, the former president had displayed a very active participation during the Senate investigation. And how come he cannot afford that? The respect that we have accorded to him because he was a former president. And I do not at least expect him to give us praises, to even, at the very least, compliment the works of this Quad Committee. But I did not expect that he would assail the integrity of the Quad Committee and even attack the integrity and the impartiality of some of the members here, Mr. Chair. So those are the questions I would like to ask to Mr. Attorney Delgra. And some of the members here, Mr. Chair, entered their appearances here. So do we also extend the same courtesy to Attorney Delgra?
I absolutely agree with you, Congressman Digong, that we will have to require the counsel of the former president to enter his appearance before this committee. Unfortunately, when we received that letter the other day, we tried to reach him and ask for his presence for today so that maybe he can point out some or maybe answer some clarifications we may ask
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
the lawyer.
Mr. Chairman,
So if I may, okay,
of order.
what is the point of order, Congressman Akop?
there was a motion a while ago for Attorney Delgra to be issued a show cause order. But pursuant to our records, we haven't invited him. In accordance with our protocol,
Ako si Digong.
an invitation is supposed to be made first. And if he does not appear, a show cause order will be issued by the committees. So I think we should issue first an invitation to Attorney Delgra for him to appear and show to us yung service engagement agreement that Attorney Delgra has with the president, former president, simply because it would be consistent with our protocols. In the case of Michael Young, Attorney Raymond Fortun was asked to produce yung agreement po nila ni Mr. Michael Young at saka si Attorney Fortun. So, Mr. Chair, to be consistent with our protocols, I move that we issue an invitation to Attorney Delgra rather than issuing a show cause order. So move, Mr. Chair.
Tama
There
nga.
is a motion to
Mr.
invite
Chairman.
Attorney Delgra. Sige.
Tama.
Yeah,
Before we roll with
with the
the,
indulgence of Congressman Akop, because there was a motion that the chair and the committee was about to rule. Now, because of that, there are interjections. And because there are interjections from the co-chairs, we would like to entertain first before we rule. Now, in this case, Congressman Paduano, and then Congressman Dan Fernandez, and then Congressman Ace Barbers. Okay, is that yes, Congressman Paduano.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ganito lang po, Mr. Chairman. Why I move to issue a show cause, but I don't have any debate with regards to the possible amendments to my motion with regards to show cause order for Attorney Delgra. But remember, Mr. Chairman, that we have already sent 2 invitations. This is the second hearing that we invited the former president. And the first invitation was answered by Attorney Delgra, no, on behalf of the president, in the absence of that authority being requested by this committee through this representation during the last hearing. Now, Mr. Chairman, looking at the answer, looking at the reply of Attorney Delgra on the first hearing, well, in fact, Mr. Chairman, naglulukuhan tayo dito. Why? Why? Because the first reply made by Attorney Delgra representing the former president is that the excuse is that the president, the former president, needs much rest, and assured this committee that he will be present in the next hearing. At the same time, he has a specific date, Mr. Chairman, given to this committee through this letter after November 1. And let me read, Mr. Chairman, allow me to read in toto the portion of such reply coming from Attorney Delgra. Hence, my client respectfully requests to defer his appearance before the Honorable Committee scheduled tomorrow. Rest assured of my client's willingness to appear before the House of Representatives on some other available date, preferably after November 1, 2024. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, the invitation that was sent to the former president and was answered by Attorney Delgra was before the presence of the former president in the Senate. And he has promised us, this committee, through his letter, that after November 1, he will be present in today's hearing. Ano to? Naglulukuhan tayo dito?
Duwag nga.
Well, in fact, I will not discuss and argue with our colleague, Congressman Kit Flores, with regards to the content of this second letter. But,
Ang question
malinaw
lang-
po, Mr. Chairman, na naglulukuhan tayo dito. Naglulukuhan tayo dito because the first letter promised us that he will be present after November 1. Kung hindi tayo naglulukuhan dito, eh ano? Natatakot siya
Takot!
na pumunta dito?
Ah,
That's why, Mr. Chairman, that's why my first motion was to issue a show-cause order for Attorney Delga to answer both letters. And, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to reiterate once again that we should invite again the former president to be present in the next hearing.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Paduano.
Mr. Chair.
As I promised, Congressman Fernandez, and then we will rule on the motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Ako.
Mr. Chairman, there are 3 reasons mentioned by Attorney Delgra in consultation with the former president para hindi po siya umattend ng ating pong hearing. First, binanggit po niya yung pangalan ko at binanggit niya yung pangalan ni Chairman Abante. Nag-prejudge na po kami doon sa mga binanggit niya po doon sa Senado and citing some provision of Republic Act 9851, particularly Section 6 on the willful killing. And with this, Mr. Chairman, we are being accused that
bias.
nabahidan ng prejudgment yung mga issue that he mentioned. With that, Mr. Chairman, para lang po mawala na tong issue to. Again, Mr. Chairman, I'm willing, this representation is willing to inhibit myself in asking questions with regards to this willful killing. And I hope that my co-chair here, Chairman Abante, will do the same in relation to the first issue that the former president, with consultation of his lawyer, cited in this letter. Secondly, that's the reason why we asked the presence of Colonel Grijaldo to be here, because he accused us of coercion and harassment and threats. And that's the reason why we are questioning, yung mga medical certificate that he submitted to this Congress. We wanted that the integrity of this Quadcom will be cleared eventually. And with that, Mr. Chairman, eradicating the coercion and harassment and the threats that he accused us, then the reason for the President not to attend on this Quadcom will be eliminated. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, the only last reason that he mentioned in this letter is all the questions were already answered in the Senate. And that is not true, because we have a lot of 20,000 questions that we wanted to ask him.
Mhm.
And with this, Mr. Chairman, yung pong reason niya for not to be here is not acceptable. So, Mr. Chairman, I believe that my position, in trying to inhibit ourselves, in this investigation pertaining to the number 1 issue that he mentioned, and also with the issue of Colonel Grijaldo, we will comply with the mandate of this Quadcom to inhibit ourselves and be a part of the resource persons that will be questioned by the members of this Quadcom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hindi pa din pupunta
Thank
yun.
you, Congressman Dan Fernandez. Now, Congressman Ace Barbers.
Hindi pa din pupunta yun.
There was a motion earlier that the committee invite Attorney
Mr.
Delgra.
Chairman, you are recognized.
Thank you. That Attorney Delgra, being the counsel of the former president, be invited in the next hearing. And we direct the committee secretariat to take note of that and send the invite in the next Quadcom hearing to Attorney Delgra. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objections?
I object, Mr. Chair.
May I know what is the objection of Congressman?
We'll get nothing from him, Mr. Chair. He all he's just gonna say is that is what my client said. So that's the end of it, Mr. Chair.
1 minute suspension.
Alam niyo mga kababayan, ano, kahit na po yung tatlo na sinabi, sundin nila Dan Fernandez, yung sinasabi niya na, ano tawag dito, na bias at i-inhibit na ni Dan Fernandez at saka ni Congressman Abante yung kanilang sarili, pumunta lang. Hindi pa din pupunta yan mga kababayan, 'no? Hindi pa din dadalo yang mga yan, 'no? Takot po yan mga bossing, eh. Yung mga sinabi ni dating Pangulong Duterte, mga boss, 'no, na ano ba sabi niya? Lahat sasabihin ko sa Quadcom basta imbitahan niyo ko. Yun na nga po.
Hearing is resumed.
Mr.
Lokohan
Chair,
lang po.
Let me just state
parliamentary inquiry.
let me just state the parliamentary status before we went on recess. The parliamentary status is that we are approving and voting on the motion by Congressman Acop to invite Attorney Delgra, being the lawyer and counsel of the former president. And when the chair asked for a second, there was a second to this motion. But when the chair asked for an objection, there was an objection stated by Congressman Keith Flores. Am I made to understand, Congressman Flores, that you are withdrawing your objection?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll withdraw my objection if Attorney Delgra will enter his appearance. But as far as the questions that we want to ask of him, Mr. I'll reiterate my position, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is noted. Thank you. Since the objections of the objection of Congressman Flores has been withdrawn, then the chair will rule that the motion is approved. Yes, Congressman Digong, for
Yeah,
your
before, I
manifestation.
guess we have already ruled on the motion to
Invite.
invite.
That's correct.
Just to put context, Mr. Chair, of the manifestation of this humble representation. Mr. Chair, the reason why I wanted Attorney Delga to be present, in fact, today, and not pasa dun sa next meeting is, I agree with Congressman Keith Flores that he is not competent to answer questions pertaining to the implementation of illegal war on drugs. But just to be honest, Mr. Chair, I don't think the former president will ever attend the Quad Committee hearing. I'm
Okay.
sorry to say that.
Okay.
I really have a strong feeling that he will never attend the Quad Committee.
Takot nga.
And since Attorney Delgra is his lawyer, I wanted to ask him about the content of his letter. I'm sure he's a capable lawyer and competent enough to elucidate to this representation, being a non-lawyer, what does he mean by subornation? Because
Yes,
that's one of the allegations. Number two, Mr. Chair, I also wanted to ask Attorney Delgra, which part of the testimony of his client in the Senate during the committee hearing, which portion of it is joke and which portion of it is true? Because he's trying to provide us, for advising us to just simply request the transcript from the Senate. Mr. Chair, I have no problem if individuals want to make other people's laugh all the time. I have no trouble with that. If you want to turn yourselves as clowns, that's your business, that's your concern. But not at the expense of serious issues, not at the expense of the collateral damages, the innocents who have died during the course of the illegal war on drugs.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Congressman
my only
Digong.
point, Mr. Chair, that I'd like to manifest.
Yeah,
Thank you very
your
much.
observation is noted, and we will consider discussion on that particular observation when we come to that at the proper time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your manifestation. Now, marami po kasi tayong naimbita at dalawa po yung ating topic ngayon, no? Yung EJK at saka yung ating drugs. No? And we will proceed first with the topic on the illegal drugs. So, may we ask the COMSEC first to please administer the oath of the resource persons we invited for the first time in this committee hearing. And then we will proceed with the hearing proper. COMSEC?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those who are attending for the first time, please stand and please raise your right hand for the oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry? So help you God. Yes. Thank you. They all said, yes, sir. The oath has been administered. Thank you.
Okay, maraming salamat sa ating mga resource persons. Thank you, Comsec. I have here a list of those people, of the members who wish to interpolate. But before that, there is a manifestation by Congressman Bordado. You are recognized. You're given 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I rise today to express my commendation for the exemplary work being conducted over the past few months by what is now popularly known as the Quadcom, a veritable super body composed of 4 standing House committees tasked to investigate the issues surrounding the Philippine offshore gaming operators, or the POGOs, and the extrajudicial killings. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I would like to recognize the tireless efforts of the chairman of the following committees: Representative Robert A. Barbers of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, who acts as the chairman of the Quadcom; Representative Dan S. Fernandez of the Committee on Public Order and Safety; Representative Bienvenido M. Abante Jr. of the Committee on Human Rights; and Representative Joseph Caraps Paduano of the Committee on Public Accounts. Their leadership, transparency, and unwavering commitment to truth-seeking have been truly commendable. Through their painstaking efforts, the Quadcom has not only brought critical issues to light, but also raised the bar for how we should approach investigations in this chamber with integrity, impartiality, and a clear sense of purpose. I also wish to extend my deepest gratitude to Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, and Representative Romy Acop, the Chair of the Committee on Transportation and Vice Chair of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Additionally, Mr. Chairman, I must commend our esteemed interpolators, young and very intelligent, who have fearlessly asked the difficult questions and examined the facts with diligence. Their perseverance in scrutinizing the details and challenging those who stand before the committee has brought us closer to the truth, and in turn provided a glimmer of hope to the families of those affected by these tragedies. Mr. Chairman, I had every intention to join this interpellation myself, but as it stands, I lack the comprehensive data that my colleagues have already so expertly gathered and utilized. In their capable hands, they have unearthed vital information that moves us closer to accountability and justice. As stated earlier by Representative Abante, no one, no matter how powerful, should be immune from accountability. The perpetrators of these heinous acts must face the full consequences of the law, and we owe it to the families of the victims to seek justice with unyielding resolve. Mr. Chairman, likewise, the inquiry into the POGOs has revealed very disturbing truths about their impacts on our society. The revelations surrounding criminal activities tied to these operators demand our swift and decisive action to ensure that such harmful elements are rooted out and prevented from further damaging our social and economic fabric. Mr. Chairman, let us remain united in our pursuit of truth, justice, and accountability. We must not allow this investigation to falter, nor the voices of those who seek justice to go unheard. As public servants, it is our duty to ensure that the truth is uncovered, that justice is served, and that we work together to prevent such abuses from ever occurring again. With that, I once again thank and commend the chairman, the interpolators, and all those who have worked tirelessly to champion the cause of truth and justice. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Congressman Bordado. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagpupuri sa Quadcom, and this would not have been possible, of course, as we all know, without the support of the Secretariat, the members of the 19th Congress, as well as the leadership of the House headed by the Speaker himself, Speaker Martin Romualdez. So before we proceed with the... Yes, Congressman Suarez?
Yeah, just because the good congressman mentioned my name, can I just have 2 minutes?
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would like to thank Congressman Bordado for your kind words. But the success of the Quadcom is not solely because of the efforts of the representatives of the 19th Congress, but also of the resource persons who come, who make time, who patiently wait for their time to be heard and to be given the opportunity to explain. That's why I would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, my disappointment that our former president is absent today. In fact, dito po talaga natin malalaman yung katotohanan pag nabibigyan natin ng pagkakataon ang mga tao magsalita at magpaliwanag. At kung hindi po natin bubuksan ang mga usapin na mabibigat at mahihirap, paano po natin mabibigyan ng hustisya at katarungan at sagot sa maraming tanong na bumabalot sa ating bansa? Napakita na po ng ating community na nagbibigay at nakakapaglabas tayo ng mga legislation, proposed legislation. I would like to commend the chairman of this committee for, again, earlier today, going to the Records Department and submitting another proposed measure, which I think will benefit the country with regards to the forfeiture of illegally source properties na pwede pong maibigay at magamit ng ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. So muli, Congressman Bordado, nagpapasalamat po ako sa mga magagandang salita mo at sana magsilbing inspirasyon to para sa ating lahat na patuloy po natin ipaglaban ang katotohanan at hanapin po natin ang mga tamang solusyon sa mga totoong problema na hinaharap ng ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Suarez. Before we proceed with the hearing proper, ito muna, i-acknowledge natin yung ating mga members who just came in. Congressman Ernesto Ernix Junicio Jr., Congressman Lordan Suwan, Congressman Patrick Michael Vargas, Congressman Jefferson Konghun, Congressman Salvador Plato, Congressman Joboy Aquino. Welcome and good morning po sa inyo. Now, we have on Zoom a former member of the Philippine National Police who was if I'm not mistaken, the deputy of the drug enforcement group, no, that operated on several illegal clandestine shabu laboratories and anti-illegal drug operations in the past, no? And I think he is now on Zoom. May we ask Colonel Sherto, if you are present. Kayo po ba nandiyan dyan sa... Can you hear us?
Opo, narinig ko po kayo.
Okay.
Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Colonel. Colonel, maaaring alam nyo na po no, na ang ating topic ngayong umaga ay tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And bilang isang operatiba ng anti-illegal drugs noong kayo'y nasa Philippine National Police pa, maaari po bang bigyan nyo kami ng idea kung ano ho ba ang inyong mga operation noon na may kinalaman dito sa pagpapahinto nitong illegal drugs dito sa ating bansa?
Marami po kaming ginawang operation. Ang example po is yung sa Antipolo, ang una pong laboratory na nahuli na merong na actual na nagluluto at more than 1 ton o 1,000 kilos ang nakuha po doon. Meron din po kaming nakuhang laboratory sa Mandawi, Cebu.
Excuse me lang po, wala ho kasi kayong video eh. Pwede bang, can we ask the technical, pwede bang may video? Yan. And kayo, nakikita niyo po ba ang komite, Colonel Sherto?
Hindi po. Hindi ko po nakikita.
So, can you please...
Pero naka-on na po ang video ko.
Ayan. Can you please, technical? And before that, habang inaayos pa ho ng technical, may we ask you to take your oath, Colonel Sherto. Comsec, please administer the oath.
Sumubay po ako kanina.
Nag-oath ka na kanina.
Sumubay po ako para save time po.
Hindi po namin nakita kasi, Colonel, so pwede po ba nating ulitin nang sa ganun, may record po kami na kayo po ay sumumpa at nag-oath. Comsec, please take note.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sir, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sherto.
Okay, thank
sir.
you, Colonel Sherto. Pwede po bang ulitin ninyo inyong report kanina?
Banggitin ko lang po yung mga naalala ko mga operation namin. Una po yung sa Antipolo na unang pagkakataon na merong nahuling actual na nagluluto sa loob ng Shabu Laboratory at sobra 1,000 kilos ng Shabu ang nakuha doon. Sumunod isang Mandawi, Cebu na mga more than 16 yata na foreign nationals na nandun na mix. Meron Indonesia, Malaysia. Then yung famous na Shabu Tiangge sa Pasig. At ang isa pa ay ang sa Davao, sa Domoy Davao City na nabas namin ang Shabu Laboratory doon noong 2004, December 31 po. Yun lang po yung marami pa ako kaya lang hindi ko na po maalala. Pero yun po yung mga significant na trabaho namin.
Sige, maraming salamat po, Colonel Sherto. Ang aming pong mga kasamahan dito ay gusto rin po magtanong sa inyo. The first to interpolate is Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized, Congressman Abante.
Magandang umaga sa iyo at Colonel Sherto.
Magandang umaga po.
Kayo po pala ay na-assign na sa iba't ibang PNP stations, ano po?
Sa totoo po, ako po ay lagi naka-assign sa mga task forces. Hindi po ako na-assign sa station o sa probinsya. Lagi pong special unit yung aking pong assignment.
At kayo po
anti-illegal drugs sa PAOP.
At kayo po ay nasa ilalim ng sino pong opisyal, usually? Sa isa lang po ba kayo nasa ilalim ng opisyal o ilang opisyal lang nasa, kayo po yung nasa ilalim nila?
Ang mga boss ko po ay yung mga director namin, director ng HOT o Task Force Commander, na sila General Alipay hanggat umabot kay General Bacalso, General Nick De Leon, General Kakda. Then yung bandang huli na, ang pinakahuling boss ko po ay si Colonel Pero, si General Mijares. Yun po ang mga naging boss ko po.
Alam po ba nila ang inyong involvement sa mga operasyon na ito? At alam po ba nila ang inyong mga in-expose recently? Involved po ba sila dyan o hindi po?
Ako po, hindi man po ako nagtatrabaho ng di alam ng boss ko. Alam po nila lahat yon. Kung ang tinutukoy niyo po ay tungkol dun sa report na ginawa ko tungkol kay Michael Yang at kay Alan Lim, alam po yan ng aking director during that time na si Director Mijares.
Meron po ba silang ginawang report tungkol dito o kayo po ba ay sinang nag-agree po ba sila sa inyo o sila po ba ay sumang-ayon o nakasama kayo upang expose to mga bagay na ito?
Kasayang palad po, sinabit ko po ang report ko kay General Bato, pero wala po nangyari. Hindi po niya inaksyonan. Iba po ang ginawa niya. Ang ginawa niya is ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim. Imbis na ako yung kausapin na gumawa ng report, si Alan Lim ang kinausap niya. Then, nagbigay din po ako ng report kay Director General Aquino ng PIDEA. Sa kanya naman po, in fairness po sa kanya, pinatawag niya ako, kinausap niya ako, in-explain ko sa kanya yung report ko kung paano ko nakuha, at ang sabi niya, ipapaabot niya sa Malacanang. Pero, nung pumutok na po ito, medyo nag-deny po siya na ang sabi niya is hindi niya maalala kung kanina niya binigay sa Malacanang. Nakakapagtaka naman po noon eh. Napaka-importante yung report. Di alam kung kanina iniwan yung report, kanina ibinigay. Then nagbigay din po ako ng report kay General Albayalde, Chief PNP Albayalde. At nung una, dininay niya, ganun din, dininay niya nung una, pero nung sinabihan siyang meron litrato, medyo naalala niya. So inamin din niya, pero wala siyang ginawa. Katulad nila General Bato de la Rosa, Aaron Aquino, at Oscar Albayalde, wala silang ginawa doon sa report ko. Talagang pinabayaan nila yung report. Then, hanggang sa umabot na yung hindi nila ma-dispute yung aking report, ang ginawa nila is ako yung siniraan. Siniraan ako at yung team ko. At dahil nga doon, yung isang kasamahan ko na gumawa ng report, binukot, si Captain Lito Perote, hanggang ngayon nawawala. At ang isa ay binaril, namatay, si retired Master Sergeant Jerry Liwanag. Wala pong umaksyon sa report ko.
Ano po ang posisyon ni Senator Bato de la Rosa nung kinausap niyo siya tungkol sa bagay na ito?
Siya po ang chief PNP noon, pero hindi po kami nag-usap ni minsan tungkol sa report ko. Hindi niya ako kinausap. Ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim o si Lin Wenxiong. Yun ang kinausap niya.
Kung hindi po kayong kinausap ni Senator Bato, paano po niya nalaman ang inyong operasyon?
Nalaman niya po na meron akong report dahil meron po nagsabi sa kanya na meron akong report tungkol kay Lin Wenxiong o Alan Lim. Nalaman niya yung report ko na kay Director Task Tascolan, tinawagan niya po si Director Tascolan at pinakuha niya yung report ko. Nalaman ko po ito kasi tinawagan ako ni General Tascolan, tinatanong ako kung nag-usap kami ni Chief PNP Bato that time kasi bakit ba pinapakuha yung report ko. Ang sabi ko kay General Tascolan, sir, hindi po ako kinakausap, hindi ko po alam kung paano niya nalaman na meron akong report na ibinigay sa inyo.
Noong pong 2017, sino po ang Director General ng Philippine National Police? Si Bato rin po ba?
During that time po, siya pa po ang director.
At kayo po'y gumawa ng isang
Director
report.
General.
Kayo po'y gumawa ng isang report noong 2017 na kung saan lumabas ang pangalan ng mga high profile na mga tao katulad ni na Michael Yang at Alan Lim na kilalang parehong malapit kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Tama ho ba ito?
Opo, at actually meron pa isang pangalan po doon si Johnson Chua.
Johnson Chua. Opo. Ito pong report na ito ay naibigay po kay Senator Bato noong panahon niya.
Opo, naibigay po sa kanya.
Pero wala po siyang ginawa.
Ang ginawa niya po ay ang kinausap niya si Alan Lim. Then kinausap siya ni Michael Yang.
Okay. Bakit po niya kinausap si Alan Lim? Palagay niyo?
Ang alam ko po is kinonfront niya si Alan Lim at umamin si Alan Lim sa kanya na siya yung nahuli sa Cavite na laboratory na ang pangalan na ginagamit niya doon ay Wen Li Chen.
So nga pala, kaano-ano mo si Miss Roslyn, kaano-ano mo si Alan Lim?
Your Honor, hindi ko po kilala si Alan Lim.
Hindi mo kilala?
Hindi po.
Okay. So, Colonel Asierto, yung pong Dumoy raid, kailan po nangyari ito? Dumoy raid.
December 31 po, 2004.
2004. Sino po ang Director General ng Philippine National Police noon at that time?
Si General Aglipay po.
General Aglipay. Okay. Pero nga po kung isang tanong doon, no? Sino po ba ang mga taong binantayan ninyo sa inyong surveillance? Tungkol dito.
Ang prominent po doon na pangalan ay si Alan C.
Alan C.
Opo.
Nasaan na po siya ngayon?
Wala na po. Nasa testimonya po ni Arturo Las Cañas kung ano yung nangyari kay Alan C.
Okay, Colonel Asierto, pakibanggit nyo nga po sa amin sa Quadcom kung ano ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa drugs at ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa dating Pangulo.
Si Michael Yang po ay nung iniimbestigahan po namin yung sa Domoy noong 2004, si Michael Yang po ay hindi namin nakikita. Kasi po ang participation niya ay nagsimula o yung aming surveillance is nagsimula noong October 2004. Pero ang participation ni Michael Yang, base dun sa informasyon na nakuha namin, is nagsimula siya noong August. Ang participation niya is siya yung tumanggap ng dalawang 40-footer container van na naglalaman ng mga saring-saring gamit ng mga chemicals at equipment at mga ibang produkto na ginamit sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Domoy at yung doon sa nahuli sa Cagayan de Oro. Yun ang participation ni Michael Yang sa Domoy. So, August siya nag-participate, pero during our surveillance ng October hanggang mabas namin ng December 31, hindi namin siya nakita. Si Michael Yang po ay una kong natanggap ang information sa kanya noong April 2016. campaign period. Ito po ay ipinakita sa akin ng litrato na magkatabi si Michael Yang, si then presidential candidate Rodrigo Roa Duterte, at si Bongo na nasa loob ng isang pribadong eroplano. Yan po ay 2016. Ang sabi sa akin ng asset is magkaibigan si Michael Yang at si then Mayor presidential candidate Duterte. So, nung matanggap ko po yung informasyon dahil 2016 campaign, hindi ko po muna ginalaw kasi parang hindi pa ho hinog yung informasyon. Nung manalo na si Pangulong Duterte at nasimula na yung war on drug na maraming namamatay, sinimulan ko na po yung aking betting doon sa informasyon na natanggap ko tungkol kay Michael Yang. So, base doon sa betting na ginawa namin, meron kaming nakausap na isang tao na meron ding involvement doon sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Domoy noong 2004. Nagkataon na natagpuan siya ni then Captain Lito Perote. So kinausap namin siya sa Davao noong August 2017. Nag-meet kami doon.
So,
kinausap namin siya.
Hindi pa kayo nakita ni Michael Yang kahit minsan?
Ay, hindi pa po.
Si Alan
Hindi
Lim,
pa po, hindi pa po.
nakita na ba kayo ni Alan Lim?
Ay, hindi pa rin po. Hindi pa rin
Okay,
po.
meron kaming picture dito na kasama ang dating Pangulo. Can we get the picture there? Na kinakausap niya si Michael Yang at si Alan Lim. So, ibig niyong sabihin, Colonel Asierto, sa inyong investigasyon na talagang nasisiguro nyo na may koneksyon ang dating Pangulo sa mga illegal na gawain ni Michael Yang at ni Alan Lim. Meron po ba?
Sigurado po ako. Dahil po doon sa nangyari sa akin at nangyari doon sa mga kasamahan ko, very obvious po na siya yung nag-protect. Pinotektahan niya si Michael Yang at si Alan Lim.
Ano pong nangyari sa inyo? Yung po ba ay ginawa sa inyo o dinicide ninyo o ginawa po sa inyo sapagkat nakita nyo ang involvement ng dating Pangulo dito kay Michael Yang, kay Alan Lim, nakita nyo na hindi pinansin ang report ninyo ni Senator Bato, karon din po si ang iba pang mga Director General.
Yung parang lumabas po kasi nung hindi nila ma-dispute yung aking report kasi supported naman po ng mga dokumento. May mga warrant of arrest si Johnson Chua, merong court decision si Wen-Li-Chen o si Alan Lim sa Cavite. So, hindi nila ma-dispute yung report Ang ginawa nila is sinira nila kami. Naglabas sila ng white paper against us, ginawan kami ng matrix.
Sino pong gumawa nun? Sino pong gumawa ng mga yan? Alam niyo po ba? Kilala niyo po ba kung sinong gumawa sa inyo ng mga white paper na yan? Sila po ba ay nasa loob ng Philippine National Police? Sila po ba ay mataas na opisyal ng Philippine National Police?
Meron po akong suspekta kung sinong gumawa, pero hindi pa po kumpleto yung aking ebidensya, pero alam po namin na siya yung gumawa, kaya hindi pa po kumpleto. At yan pong white paper ay ginamit ni Pangulong Duterte nung nagsalita siya sa General Santos. Yung papel na winawagayway niya na sinasabing kung ano-ano tungkol sa amin, na ako raw nag-smuggle ng AK-47, nagbigay daw ako ng baril ng AK-47 sa NPA, nakikidnap daw kami ng mga Chinese at pinapatubos at kung ano-ano pang mga ano, pati yung pagpatay sa Koreano, ibinintang sa amin. So,
Kailan po
dahil
nangyari yun?
hindi nila kayang,
Colonel, kailan po nangyari yun?
yung pag, hindi ko na po matandaan yung exact nung kailan yung yung kanyang public sa engagement sa General Santos. Pasensya na po kayo, talaga pong medyo mahina po yung aking pag-alala sa date. Pero lahat naman po yan is nasa media. Lumabas na po sa media yan. So, lahat po itong sinasabi ko ay nangyari, mabe-verify po sa media.
Meron po ba kayong sariling dokumento na nagsasaad na si Michael Yang po at Alan Lim at ang ibang mga PNP chief ay may connection dito sa inyong iniimbestigahan?
Ang ginawa ko pong report ay nasa kanila. Ibinigay ko sa kanila yung report ko.
Oo.
Kung wala ko kayong kopya ang komite, kung wala ko kayong kopya, pwede po ako magbigay sa inyo ng electronic copy.
Mr. Chairman, do we have a copy of that?
Comsec, do we have a copy of the document from Colonel Acerto?
There were submissions in the past, sir. We have to check if...
Just in case lang na nawa na yung kopya, can we ask another copy from you, Colonel Acerto?
Opo, ipadala ko na lang po. Lahat po ng dokumento na meron ako, pati mga notes, mga pictures, mga passport picture ni Alan Lim o ni Lin Winxiong, ipadala ko po sa inyo.
So, Colonel Acerto, of course, alam nyo na under oath po kayo. So, lahat po ng inyong mga sinapit, mga pinangkit ngayong araw na ito sa aming Quadcom ay puros katotohanan po lamang.
Opo,
Wala pong halong katotohanan po ba ito? Ang pangalawang tanong, wala bang halong politiko ito? Ang pangatlong tanong, masama ba ang loob nyo sa dating Pangulo o sa mga Director General, kaya kayo nagsasabi ng ganito ngayon? Pakisagot po.
Sobrang anim na taon na po kung lumalaban sa katotohanan. Kung ang aking report ay hindi totoo, ay madali po na lang itong i-discredit. Pwede nila kagad i-present si Alan Lim o si Michael Yang. Si Michael Yang meron siyang tattoo sa likod. Ang alias niya is Dragon. Kasi meron siyang tattoo sa Dragon. Lahat po yan nasa report ko.
Mayroon pong tattoo sa likod si Michael Yang.
Opo, sa likod. Ang alias Dragon po ang tawag sa kanya.
Ang akala ko ba hindi pa kayo nakita ng Michael Yang? Paano nyo nalaman na meron siyang tattoo sa likod? Sino nagsabi sa inyo na meron siyang tattoo sa likod?
Yun po yung binangkit nung confidential informant na nung ipinakita ko po yung mga pictures, yung iba-ibang pictures ng mga Chinese o iba-ibang photos. Tinuro niya po yung picture ni Michael Yang. Pero ang tawag niya, yan po si Dragon. Sabi niya, bakit Dragon? Sabi ko sa kanya, bakit Dragon? Kasi meron po siyang tattoo sa likod ng Dragon.
Pwede niyo bang sabihin sa amin kung sino po yung informant na yon?
Nandun po yan sa report ko.
Nasa report ninyo?
Opo, nasa report ko po yun.
Kung pwede po, pakibigay po sa amin lahat ng mga dokumento para makita po namin ito. Yan. Pati po ba yung mga personalidad na nakalagay din po doon?
Opo, meron po yung meron parang siyang summary information ni Johnson Chua, ni Michael Yang, at saka ni Alan Lim.
Okay. Andito po ngayon si Pidea Wilkins Villanueva na nagsasabi na walang kinalaman si Michael Yang sa drugs. Anong masasabi ninyo?
Tama, si Wilkins Villanueva, hindi naman po siya talagang naging, masasabi ko na-involved dun sa surveillance casing build-up doon sa Domoy. At base po naman dun sa information na natanggap namin, si Michael Yang ay lumutang, ang participation na po ni Michael Yang is noong August 2004. Nagsimula kayong mag-surveillance o magkaroon ng case build-up is October na po October 2004. So talagang hindi namin nakita si Michael Yang during the intelligence build-up.
Paano nyo...
Tapos yung sinasabi rin ni Wilkins dun sa press call nila sa Malacanang dati, na yun daw pong picture ni Alan Lim, nung mugshot niya, saka yung present picture ni Alan Lim ay malayo. Ang tanong ko po sa kanya is, siya ho ba eksperto sa photograph analysis? Napakadali lang naman pong malaman kung totoong iisang tao yan Fingerprint lang po. Fingerprint.
Colonel Asierto, andito po si Pidea Wilkins Villanueva. Pidea Wilkins, can you say something about this? Pagkat iyong sinabi na walang kinalaman si Michael Yang sa drugs. So, will you please answer this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yung Dumoy Clandestine Laboratory actually started October of 2004. The information came from the Drug Enforcement Administration ng United States of America. Yun ang start po nun. Tapos the information was passed on me ng PDEA Intelligence and Investigation Service. I was the regional director of PDEA Regional Office 11 during that time. So ang information, before kami, gusto ko lang, Mr. Chair, na ikwento.
Yes. Do you know Colonel Asierto personally?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Kasi sometime October, first week of October actually, nag-meeting po kami nito sa HSOT ni Colonel Asierto. Kaibigan ko po ito, sir.
Yes.
Mista ko po ito, sir, si Colonel Asierto.
Okay.
So during that time,
classmate kayo?
Na-turn back lang siya, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So graduate ako ahead of him. During that time, Mr. Chair, nagkaka-editan ang PDEA at ang HSOT. Kasi ganunan That was the first, yun yung unang, ng PDEA at HSOT. So,
yun ang problema nyo nagpapagalingan kayo.
Yes, during that time. Kaya nga, since mista ko, sir,
sana wala nang pagalingan ngayon.
Ay, nung time ko, Mr. Chair, wala nang ganun
Oo.
Nung 2020, wala nang
Hindi ko makakalimutan yung nangyari doon sa Quezon City.
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine? Pareho kayong law enforcers. Kayo nagbabarilan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
So what happened, case conference kami ni Colonel Asierto. Nasabi niya, may nahagip siyang personality na papuntang Davao. But naputol doon, Mr. Chair. Until noong October 26, nabigyan ako ng information na may padating na 2 Chinese national na manufacturer sa Davao. So from the airport, talaga sinundan namin hanggang sa kung saan sila lumapag. PDEA pa lang po ang nandun. Wala pa pong HSOT yun.
Surveillance ninyo.
So talaga sinundan na namin sila hanggang sa dulo. Ang kagandahan doon, Mr. Chair, is pagdating doon sa pinuntahan nila, that same, yung bahay na pinuntahan nila, that was an apartment. Subject po yun ng previous case operation plan ng PDEA.
Sino po yung 2 Chinese?
Mr. Chair, Chinese name hindi
you would know because ikaw ang leader ng
Yes, Mr. Chair, but 2004 wala na po akong i-find out ko, Mr. Chair. And,
May report kayo niya sa PIDEA, am I right?
yes, we submitted sa PIDEA mga progress report hanggang sa after operation report.
Mr. Chair, may I ask that
But pipilitin ko, Mr. Chair, kasi
that he submit to us the report, please. Wala na ba o ano?
pipilitin kong hanapin sa files ko, Mr. Chair, kasi yung sobrang tagal, most of the laptops na nasa akin na corrupted. So pipilitin kong maghanap, baka na-save ko somewhere along sa mga...
So naniniwala kayong walang kinalaman si Michael Yang sa drug?
During that time, Mr. Chair, walang Michael Yang eh. Ang alam ko lang na sinabi ni Colonel Asierto is Johnson Chua, which is both. Talagang subject namin dalawa yon. But there was no Michael Yang during that time.
Colonel Asierto, what can you say about that? Sa sinabi ngayon ni General Wilkins. Ano po? Anong masasabi?
Totoo po yung kay Michael Yang na talagang hindi na namin nakita nung mag-start kami mag-surveillance noong October. Kasi nga po, ang sabi nung may confidential informant Panther na August nung tinanggap ni Michael Yang yung dalawang 40-footer container van. Yung sinasabi niya naman po tungkol doon sa information na galing USDA, tama po yun, galing USDA. Sa akin po ibinigay. Ang information na ibinigay sa akin ng USDA is nagbigay siya ng isang number, nag-load number, na ang last 4 digit is 1988. Kaya medyo natatandaan ko po. So very
Totoo po yun, General. Totoo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Binigyan nga ako ng log dun ni Colonel Asierto about that.
Okay.
Na yung information niya, na yung log na yon, tumumbok na sa Davao. So doon kami nagkatugma. So doon kami nag-collaborate, Mr. Chair.
Anong ibig sabihin yung nasa Davao, General Villanueva?
Yung user nung number na binigay niya is naandun sa Davao.
Therefore, yung pong drugs nasa Davao.
I don't know, Mr. Chair, but yung personality na gumagamit ng telepono na yon is na-trace sa Davao, Mr. Chair. Kaya pumayag ako makipag-collaborate kay Colonel Asierto because, Davao to. So, sa akin, lahat ng pertaining sa Region 11 is under my area. So, ito daw, Mr. Chair, yung sinabi namin, pwede itong first time na to mag-collaborate ang PIDEA at police. And it happened, Mr. Chair.
Hanggang ilang taong kayo ron?
Until 2008, Mr. Chair.
2008.
Yes, yes.
So, where were you when the former president became president?
Nasa regional office 10 po ako, Mr. Chair.
You were
As a
still
regional
active at
director.
that time.
Yes, yes.
And you are the...
Regional Director of Regional Office 10.
Are you also involved? Sa PIDEA pa rin, di ba? PIDEA?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, Colonel Asierto. Colonel Asierto. Colonel Asierto.
Ano po yun? Opo.
General Villanueva attested and agreed with you on on what you said. So, can you continue on? Ano sa mga sabi niyo?
Tungkol naman po dun sa mga binigyan ko ng report, siguro po natural na sumama ang loob ko kasi sila po yung aking mga immediate upper class sa PMA, si General Aquino, class 85, siya ang nag-receive sa amin. Nung plebo kami, sila yung class na nag-receive sa amin. Tapos ang mga squad leader namin, 86. Yung class nila, General Bato.
Colonel Asierto, merong nabanggit si General Villanueva na dalawang Chinese na hinabol nila sa Davao. Hindi niya maalala yung mga pangalan. Kayo po ba naalala niyo yung pangalan, Colonel Asierto? Yung dalawang Chinese na yan?
Hindi ko po alam yung sinasabi niyang Chinese, pero ang target po namin dyan, yung nagpunta kami sa Davao, is si Alan Sina yung gumagamit ng number ng 1988.
Sino pong Alan? Alan Lim.
Alan C po.
Alan C. Okay. So
Opo.
ilang taon na po silang involved sa drugs sa pagkakaalam ninyo?
Hindi ko po maibigay yung exact na taon kasi nung ma-receive namin yung information na yun, middle of 2004 yung binigay sa akin yung number na 1988 ng USDA.
Until?
Ano po? Yung number na binigay sa akin po ng USDA na mayroong last 4 digit na 1988 is parang ibinigay po sa akin ng mga middle of 2004 eh. So, pina-verify niya sa akin yun, pina-investigahan. Then, after a couple of months, yung isang asset ko po na dito sa Pilipinas, binigay din po yung same number na involved din daw sa production ng shabu.
At ang base po nila sa Davao. Ang kanilang base sa Davao.
Opo. Ang i-trace ko nga namin, nasa Davao.
At ang dating Pangulo ay mayor pa ng Davao nung araw.
Opo, siya po yung mayor. Siya po yung mayor that time. Kasi bago po kami magsimulang mag-surveillance, pinuntahan po namin siya ni Ben Wilkins Villanueva, director ng PDEA doon sa 11. Parang respeto po na courtesy call na nandun po ako sa Davao na tiga Manila, Manila Base Unit na mag-ooperate sa Davao. Kasi po nga, mayor, at alam kong very supportive siya sa mga anti-illegal drugs operation.
So, during that time, wala kayong hinagap, Colonel Asierto at General Villanueva, wala kayong hinagap na involved ang dating mayor po ng Davao sa drugs.
Mr. Chair,
General Villanueva, sige po.
Mr. Chair, talaga supportive.
Wala kayong hinagap na involved ang dating mayor sa
Wala
drugs?
po, Mr. Chair.
Hindi nyo alam?
Actually, during the operation, yung actual operation, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
nagtayo po sila ng command post just 50 meters away from the clandestine laboratory.
Sino po nagtayo?
Sila Mayor Duterte, si General Simeon Dizon, Regional Director po siya ng PNP ng Region 11, na andun po yung ibang mga konsehal ng Davao City at na andun po ang media while we were operating on the clandestine laboratory. So, talagang ang iniisip namin, talagang walang involvement ang ating mayor during that time.
Okay. Colonel Asierto, what can you say about that?
Ako po, meron po ako naririnig na chismis, pero wala po akong makitang ebidensya. At in fairness po talaga, talagang during our surveillance, hindi po nahagip yung pangalan ng mga Duterte. Hindi po namin hagip, in fairness.
Naglalaro lang po ang isip ko dito, no, sapagkat may mga napatay na mga mayor na involved sa drugs, may mga napatay na mga high profile na involved sa drugs. Ano po ba ito? Ito po ba ay to annihilate the competition para isa na lang ang manguna dyan? O ano po bang palagay nyo? Colonel Asierto.
Sa aking pong assessment, with yung kanyang pagproteksyon kay Michael Yang saka kay Alan Lim, ang aking po is parang cover up po yung pagpatay niya sa mga maliliit na sa mga maliliit na personality na involved sa droga.
Parang cover up.
Kumbaga,
assessment nyo.
Parang cover up po eh. Oo, cover up. Dahil
bakit po nyo nasabing parang cover up?
Kasi po ang namamatay is yung mga nasa baba, yung mga user. Yung, kumbaga is mga end user. Tapos yung medyo yung distribution, yung mababang distribution. Pero yung source po, hindi po ginagalaw.
General Villanueva, anong palagay nyo? Anong palagay nyo?
Mr. Chair, iba yung analysis ko doon, Mr. Chair. Kung bakit nagtayo ng Davao Laboratory. Kasi Mr. Chair, talagang during the time, talagang mataas ang level ng aming vigilance against crime, illegal drugs.
Ano na ngayon ang assessment nyo during the time
During that time,
that
Mr.
the
Chair.
former president became president and he had war on drugs and killed so many people? Ano po yung assessment nyo dyan? For example, like Mayor Espinosa, pinatay po, Paruhinog, pinatay. Si Jed Mabilog ay kinakailang umalis ng Pilipinas sapagkat pinagbintangan. Ano po ang assessment nyo?
Mr. Chair, hindi ko I cannot give any assessment on it because dun lang po ako sa anti-illegal drug campaign.
Well, that's anti-illegal drugs.
Yes, Mr. Chair,
Pero
pero yung
anti-illegal drugs campaign.
pero wala pong actual na ebidensya na pwede kong ituro ang ating presidente.
Oh.
So I cannot speculate on the things na wala po akong personal knowledge.
Of course, that's true. Yes. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, at tutulugan na lang mamaya para yung ibang naman ay makapagtanong din. Thank you very much.
Salamat, Congressman Abante. The next to interpolate is Congressman Ernix Junicio. You're recognized. You have 5 minutes. 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to have a clear perspective and background, I'd like to ask some few questions to Colonel Asierto. Colonel Asierto, magandang hapon po sa inyo. Just to make clear of things, dati po kayong pulis, tama po ba?
Magandang hapon po. Opo.
Ano po ba kayo? Nag-PNPA, PMA, at anong batch po kayo nagtapos?
I belong po sa PMA class of 1989.
Philippine Military Academy po, PMA?
Opo, PMA po.
1989.
1989.
Opo. Noong taong 2003, kayo po ay kasama sa founding team ng PNP's first separate drug unit, yung Anti-Illegal Drug Special Operations Task Force, kung tawagin. Tama po ba?
Opo, doon po ako nakasign during that time.
Ano po yung naging katungkulan nyo dun sa task force na yon?
Isa po ako sa mga unit chief. Ang hawak ko po yung Special Operation Unit 3.
Specifically for drug eradication po, no? Tama po.
Opo, ang ano po namin, ang focus po namin is yung high value targets, yung mga foreign nationals.
Na-involve sa illegal na droga.
Opo.
Noong taong 2015 naman po, ang task force nag-expand siya eh. Naging Illegal Drugs Group, AIDG. Tama po?
Opo, nag-transition po siya.
At kayo naging bahagi rin nun. Parte rin po kayo nun.
Naging parte rin po ako.
Eventually, naging PNP Drug Enforcement Group o DEG. Kayo naging bahagi rin po nun. Tama po?
Opo. Naging deputy po ako nung i-organize po yung Drug Enforcement Group. Ako po yung in-appoint na ni Chief PNP Bato de la Rosa at that time na maging deputy for administration.
Yeah, I can see, Colonel Asierto, that you have a wide experience in the anti-illegal drug campaign, being a part of multiple groups that is specifically tasked to eradicate illegal drugs. Kung susumahin po ang inyong karanasan bilang isang anti-drug operative, gaano po kahaba ang naging karanasan ninyo?
Siguro po mga almost 2 decades po.
Sa haba po nung karanasan ninyo, naging matagumpay naman po sa pananaw ninyo ang mga operasyon na nagawa nyo laban sa illegal na droga?
Opo, masasabi ko pong naging epektibo yung aming unit, yung SOU3, at marami po kami nakuha awards. Almost yearly kami ang nakakuha ng awards, yung mga tauhan ko. At very close po ako sa mga foreign counterparts.
Sa maiksing pananalita po, very briefly, choosing a few of your major accomplishments, partly that has been mentioned earlier or not, pakibahagi nga po sa committee ito yung pinaka malaking accomplishment nyo sa paglaban sa illegal na droga?
Siguro po yung pinakamalaking accomplishment ko is yung na-discovery namin yung protection na ibinigay ni Pangulong Duterte sa dalawang drug personalities na si Michael Yang at si Alan Lim. Sa tingin ko po, yan yung pinakamalaking accomplishment ko. Kaya lang nga po is nalagasan ako ng dalawang kasama ko.
Pakipaliwanag po, ano pong ibig sabihin ng nalagasan?
Yung si Captain Perote po, dinukot sa Bacolod noong April 19, 2019. At si Master Sergeant Liwanag, retired Master Sergeant Jerry Liwanag, pinatay po noong February 24, 2021.
Sila po ba mga kasama nyo rin sa PMA?
Hindi po, mga tauhan ko po sila sa sa SOU 3. From the ranks po sila.
Sa anti-drug operation unit nyo rin po?
Opo.
First time ko pong narinig yung nangyari na yan. Ano po ba ang sa tingin nyo, bakit po ba o sino po ba ang may kagagawan ng pagkamatay ng inyong mga kasamahan sa anti-illegal drug campaign?
Wala pong iba kundi yung dating Pangulong Duterte. Dahil gusto nila kaming patahimikin dahil sa na-discovery namin na involvement ni Michael Yang saka ni Alan Lim.
Ito rin po ba yung dahilan kung bakit wala po kayong... sige po, pakituloy po. Pasensya na po.
Ano po yung tanong?
Ito rin po ba yung dahilan kung bakit wala kayo rito ngayon at kayo po ay natatakot para sa inyong kaligtasan at buhay?
Actually, kinasuhan po nila ako eh. Meron po akong warrant of arrest kaya nagtatago ako at meron po nakapatong sa akin na 15 million para po mapatay nila ako.
Noong taong 2017 bilang isang illegal anti-drug operative, kayo po ay nagsabit ng isang confidential report that was earlier touched by Congressman Benny Abante, a confidential report linking a high-profile personality sa illegal na drugs. Gaya ng nabanggit kanina, ito ay si Michael Yang, Alan Lim, tama po ba yon?
Opo, at si Johnson Chua po.
Kasama po siya, okay. Ano po yung posisyon ninyo nung ginawa ninyo yung particular na report na ito involving the personalities of Michael Yang, Alan Lim?
At the time po, ako po ang Deputy Director for Administration ng Drug Enforcement Group.
Base po sa report na ito na isinumiti ninyo at nagawa ninyo na inihanda ninyo sa sarili ninyo, paano nyo masasabi na involved si Michael Yang sa illegal na drug trade?
Una, dahil dun sa report na ibinigay sa akin ng aking asset na validate namin, then yung connection niya kay Johnson Chua at kay Alan Lim. Si Alan Lim, meron siyang kaso ng kinasuhan siya sa Cavite Laboratory, pero na-dismiss yung kaso niya, pero doon siya mismo nahuhuli sa loob ng laboratory. Si Johnson Chua, meron siyang standing warrant of arrest sa na-inisyo ng Cagayan de Oro RTC at sa Parañaque RTC. So dalawang personality na involved sa droga, tapos si Michael Yang, hindi naman po mahirap magkaroon ng assessment doon sa kanyang involvement.
So it is safe to say na gaya ng nabanggit po ninyo na without a doubt they are involved sa personal assessment nyo as a professional and well-experienced operative of anti-illegal drugs.
Opo, ako po ay 100% na yan si Alan Lim at si Lim Wenxiong ay isang tao lang po yan.
At verified nyo po lahat ito sa inyong karanasan?
Kindly wrap up, Congressman.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a few more questions.
Kasama po yan doon sa meron pong yung report ko po ay may mga attachment.
Opo, bilang huling tanong na lang po, gusto ko lang ibigyan ng emphasis dahil nalito ako doon sa tanong. Kanino niyo po sinabit yung confidential report na ginawa niyo noong 2017?
Ang unang binigyan ko po ng report ay si Director Cascolan na ipinakuha ni then Chief PNP Bato de la Rosa at nagbigay din po ako ng report kay Director General Aquino ng PIDEA at nung maupo si Chief PNP Oscar Albayalde, binigyan ko rin po siya ng report.
Ano po nangyari sa report?
Wala pong nangyari. Ako po ang binaligtad kung ano pong ibinintang sa akin at dininay nila yung mga report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one manifestation. Considering the profile of the personalities involved na nire-report po sa atin ni Colonel, this humble representation hopes that a thorough investigation be conducted. Hindi biro po yung mga nalalaman nating impormasyon ngayon eh. These allegations, if these allegations are true, then we should be alarmed and drastic measures be implemented. We need laws to protect people like ang ating colonel ngayon na nagbibigay na impormasyon na to. In the end, we wouldn't want drug syndicates to be able to penetrate the higher echelon of our government. Ang mga tao na kumita o nagpayaman kapalit ang buhay at na malulong sa masamang bisyo ng illegal na droga at sugal, ang lipunan natin has no place in government. And at the same time, it should be really eradicated. That's why I thank the Quadcom. We will make laws and find ways to prevent these people who are involved in illegal drugs and illegal gambling to put a stop to them and not enter the government. Maraming salamat, Your Honor.
Thank you, Congressman Junicio. The next to interpolate is Congressman Lord Dansuan. You have 10 minutes.